Hello and welcome to our first episode of our AI and marketing automation training, where we're going to talk about why service-based businesses lose leads and how AI can fix it. So, unlike most webinars, this is actually going to be a training or a workshop. I'll have a couple of exercises for you to do that will help you to not only understand where some of the holes are, but how to plug those holes and how AI can help you fix it. And if everything makes sense, how to take the next step. So, first of all, I'd like to go ahead and break down what will be covered. I'll introduce myself. I am Jeff Bill of the Marketology Group. I am a marketing strategist, also known as Mr. Marketology. I actually help companies with their AI development, training, and implementation, as well as marketing automation. That's who I am. I've been in the industry for several years, in the marketing industry for 20 plus years, and very excited and intrigued with the way marketing automation is going and the way AI is being integrated into day to day business. So, what to expect with this actual training? Well, first, we're going to talk about the number one reason why service based businesses lose leads. We're going to also talk about three causes for them to lose leads. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to give some real world situations. So we're going to talk about what your actual leads do to find you and use some case studies to show what to expect. This is what's going to be exciting and interesting because the exercise is going to have you actually do some of the work as well. Then the next thing we're going to do, we're going to talk about the opportunity cost, the true opportunity cost. That's going to be another exercise that we'll do so you can actually see how much it's costing. And then we're going to talk about how AI can solve these challenges. And then the top three immediate solutions that you can do. And we'll wrap it up with the full ultimate AI system and what the next steps will be. So, what's the number one reason why service based businesses lose leads? Well, it's really incompetency in communication. And what does that mean? Well, first of all, when someone reaches out to you, they inquire about your service, they want to do business with you, you only really have less than 24 hours to respond. And in a lot of cases, you have less than an hour to respond. But they don't give you a big window for you to get back in touch with them. The second is you don't get a second chance. They're not going to reach out to you. If you don't respond, reach out to you again tomorrow. And if you don't respond, reach out to you again the next day. If you don't respond, they're just going to move on to your competitor. And that is a big challenge when it comes to a lot of service based businesses. And we'll talk about the reasoning in a few minutes. But uh, to be honest, if you don't answer the phone or you don't respond to the text or email or chat, they're just going to move on. So that's the next thing. And then the last thing is, being unresponsive is unprofessional. It just shows uh, the level of professionalism your company has, at least at first impression. And chances of you showing the greatness that you have with your business as far as the quality of work will never be seen because they're going to move to a competitor and in a lot of cases never look back. So that's the number one reason. It's just incompetency of communication that most businesses lose leads. Now, here are the three reasons or three causes of these inefficiencies. One will be limited staff availability. So you may be a one man show, you may be a 100-man show, but limited staff in that communication capacity. And that can be one of the reasons why you take the time that is more than what they expect to get in touch with them. The second would be just incompetent staff. They may be on break. They may be on, overwhelmed with work. They may answer the call, but answer it in an unprofessional way. I'm sure you've had, calls to where the person may be having a bad day or may have language barrier, but the actual experience is just I would say nerve wracking. They are very unprofessional. They don't listen to what you have to say. Um, they are going by a script, not going off script. So, it's just pretty much you listen to what I have to say, you do what I tell you to do, and that's it. So there's no real back and forth communication. No questions are being answered. It's just a horrible experience. And then the last would be there's no clear communication system, or there's technology breaks, technological breaks, software breaks, CRMs break, your system is flawed. You may say that you'll call somebody back and then it doesn't notify you, and so you don't, or they may send something as simple as send an email and never get a confirmation that you received it. So they are in limbo until you finally get a chance to get in touch with them. So those are some of the things that really pose challenges when it comes to you showing that good first step of interacting with a lead and then converting them to a client. So, like I said before, this is not a webinar. This is actual training. So we're going to get into some real world cases. So what I want you to do, a lot of times you'll hear, turn off your phone, turn off all distractions. I want you to either pick up your phone or get on your desktop, open up a web browser or a new tab on the browser, and I want you to go to Google and perform a search. And with that search, I want you to perform the search to be for what you provide, or it can be something that you're looking service-based to have provided to you, and do a search. And we're going to break down how that search works, and then we're going to break down where the holes are, and later on we'll talk about how to fix it. So let's go ahead and get into that. Let me go ahead and go to Google on my side so you can see exactly what's going on. All right. So I've done just a general search. General contractors is what I'm going to use for this example. But let me show you how the search engine algorithm work. First of all, the first thing they show would be ads. And typically, ads will show up on top, especially your desktop. If you're on a mobile device, you may see maps first. You may see that above the ads. But it's either ads or maps that will show first. And these are the people that actually are paid for them to show up at the top of the search results. And so with that, these businesses are paying for every click, every lead. They're paying for it. You probably are in this situation to where you're actually paying for leads. And so you understand what this is. So as these come up, a person typically will look at these results. And if there are phone numbers, as you see in this case, the ads have phone numbers associated, or there's icons to where you can send a message or click the call, they will take that action. They'll either click the call, especially if they're on the phone, instead of typing the number out, they'll just click the call, or they'll click the message. Some will click your link to go to your website, and then when they get to your website, they will look things over, either email you, fill out your form, or call you. But in most cases, if it's something that they are looking to do right now, they are hot leads, they will just click the call. They'll want an immediate conversation with you. So if they do that, and let's say that you are short staffed, or your staff is busy and no one answers the phone, they don't typically call back to back to back. They'll just move on to the next listing. They'll look at your competitors. And the first one that calls answers their questions, has availability, price range is right, they'll do business with that business. So if you're not answering the phone, or like I say, your team answers the phone unprofessional, they will just move to the next person. So that's the first step. That's the ones that are paying for the placement. So they're paying to be seen. They're paying for these leads. They want leads to call them or to reach out to them, and they're willing to put money behind that. So what does that mean? If you're paying for a lead and the lead's costing you X amount, and we can get into a little bit later, an estimate of what that would look like. What is the opportunities that are lost? It's more than just the revenue you're not making. You're actually losing money as well because you're paying per lead. So you don't want to do that. All right. So the next thing will be the maps. And we talked about the maps before. So the maps is this section. It'll show what's close. The way the algorithms work, usually in when somebody is searching for a business to do business with, Google's going to recommend, first of all, something that's close to them, especially if they put in something like whatever that service is or that business is near them, or that business and the location that they're in. It'll show what's close to them. So in the map area, it'll show what's close to them. And once again, you can either go to their website, you can get directions, you can click the call, you can also message them. So just like with the sponsored ads, you can reach out and communicate with them by doing this particular approach. But what happens if they go and they try to click the call? There's no way of contacting you. So they click the call, but they get, no response, no communication. Well, what happens with that is, once again, they just go to the next one, and they go to the next one, and that's what they do in that regards. So if you're missing that opportunity, it's because your team is not communicating with them in an efficient way. So hopefully you're doing this. Hopefully you're going through and you're looking at what you would do if you were in this situation. Would you go to the next business, or would you keep calling this one business over and over again until you finally talk with them? I just want you to go ahead and answer that question. You can put that question into the chat. You can just make a mental note of it. That's really what I want you to do. Just make a mental note of what would you do if you're searching for a business that you want, you're searching for a service that you want, and you see these search results. Would you click the call? Would you message them? Would you go to their website? And how many opportunities would you give them before you move on to your competitor? Okay, so the last thing would be the search results. And these are the organic search results. These are what you pay SEO companies to optimize you so you'll show up on the first page of the search engines. So as you can see in this particular example, the top search results aren't even businesses that offer that service. These are actual directories, and you probably heard of them: Better Business Bureau, Yelp, House in this regards. So these are directories, and not only will you need to rank in Google, now you need to rank in their directory in order to be found. So that's the SEO aspect. And to be able to rank and outrank these competitors, because they are competitors for this space, um, or to outrank your competitors directly in your industry, you will have to optimize your website. And in most cases, you're busy doing what you do best. You're hiring an agency to optimize your website for SEO, so you'll outrank them, and that costs you money. So there's an opportunity cost there. That's costing you monthly in order to rank. But what happens if you rank? They click the link, they go to your website, they reach out to you, and once again, you drop the ball, you fumble, you don't respond in a reasonable amount of time. They'll just go to the next website. Most of them will, open this in a new tab. They'll close that tab, come back to the search results, and they will go to the next website. So let's scroll down. You'll see this is the first page. This is now coming to the second page. And finally, you see somebody that's an actual company that I can go to their site. But in that regards, like I said, look at all the competitors that are there and available that you may be missing if you're not answering the call. So I'm going to go ahead and let you do that for just a couple of more seconds and see what the results come up and how you would respond to those results. All right, so let's talk about the true opportunity cost. As stated, if you're not answering the phone within 24 hours, in most cases within an hour or a matter of minutes for some, then you're missing the opportunity. But what does that cost you? Well, we talked about the leads. We talked about ad costs. How much are you paying in advertisement? How much each lead costs you as a cost per lead that is sent your way? And leads that don't immediately get responses, they move on to competitors. All right. So when you miss leads, you miss revenue. And then here's some other expenses that you may not be thinking about, but this costs you as well. The average staff member getting paid minimum wage is costing you about $40,000 a year. And that's just minimum wage. So how many staff members do you have? Do you have a call center? How many, staff members are you paying to help you either do sales or customer service or just administrative work? But you can add that on to the cost as well. Not to mention utilities, phone, and other expenses. But what are these opportunity costs whenever you don't get an opportunity to even talk with a lead in order to convert them into an actual customer or client? Well, let me help you with that. Right here, you're going to see a link that you can use. It's a complimentary gift that you can go to a calculator and find out how much opportunity is costing you. All right. So with this opportunity calculator, you're going to put in your average, cost to the client. So your average order value, and that can vary. You may offer several different things, but just do an average, right? And then from there, you have your average call volume that you have in per month. So, how many calls do you get, or how many leads do you get from people that are sending you leads, whether it's ads or agencies or however you generate your leads? How many of them are you getting? Then you want to put an estimate of how many of them do you miss. If you're getting, let's say, 50 leads a week, how many of them are you actually talking with? So if you're only talking to 25, then you would put 25 that you missed in here. And then, of course, what is the percentage of your close rate? Some close better than others, but when you do finally talk with them, what's the percentage of the close rate? Go ahead and hit the blue button. It'll calculate and show you exactly how much money you're leaving on the table. If that makes you feel uncomfortable, if it is not satisfactory, then there's a green button beside it, and you can actually click that button, and we will show you where the holes are and talk with you about how to fix and plug those holes. So, this will just let you see the numbers. I'm not into fluff. I'm not into hype. I'm not into theory. This was going to show you in actual numbers, just facts, what you're leaving on the table. And then after you see that, if you're ready to move forward, we can talk about actually how to fix that. And we'll talk a little bit about how to fix that coming up now. So AI actually solves this challenge. The beautiful thing about AI is it's always on. And once programmed, it's consistent. There's no variables. It's not going to, have bad days. It's not going to answer the phone with attitudes. It's not going to, have holidays and things of that nature. It's very predictable once set up correctly. So, first thing, you'll have immediate response. You can set what is that response time going to be and how to respond. Do you respond immediately? Like, for instance, with a phone call, it picks up every time. With emails, you may want to respond immediately, or you may want to wait 5, 10, 15 minutes or more. But you can program that. If they fill out a form, you may say respond to them immediately with the actual email, but then give them a phone call in the next 5 minutes. So it will respond based on your cadence, based on your frequency. So you can set that up, and you can be, assured that the communication will be sent out. Then second, once again, it's 24/7. It never sleeps. So unlike employees that, they have their shifts, this is always on. And even if somebody calls you or they reach out to you and it's outside of your hours of operation, you'll be able to reply to them. Even if it's a message to say, we're not in the office at this time, but we can answer your questions and we can schedule a time to talk. But it's always on. And if you get very advanced with it, you can make people think that you're always in the office. You're always there, because it can be your clone and it can talk on your behalf, and a person won't know that it's actually AI. They'll think it's an actual person that's there. They're your receptionist, or they're you. They'll answer the questions. They'll set the appointments. They'll do the follow-up email, follow-up text, and then that person feels very comfortable and confident that they chose correctly with choosing your business. And then the next thing, multi-channel follow-up. I just mentioned that just now, where you can follow up in several different ways. You can send an email and then follow up with a text. You can make a phone call and follow up with an email and a text. You can do all types of ways of reaching out to these leads to make them feel as if they're heard, they're being well taken care of, and they made a good decision, because that's very important that they feel that they made a good decision. Next, this is very, very, very important. It can do critical thinking. Now, a lot of you have interacted with AI and you're saying, well, the bot seems like it's just a bot and I can tell it's AI and so forth. That's only because they did not train the AI properly. You have to train your AI. And if you don't train your AI is just out the box. So let me give you an analogy that may help with this. If you were to hire an employee, no matter how intelligent this employee is, and tell them nothing about your business, tell them nothing about your industry, how effective would they be? You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't hire somebody and just put them in a seat in front of a computer with a phone and tell them, this is your task, just do it. And they know nothing about your business, nothing about your industry. they're just somebody that you just hired and filled the seat. You wouldn't do that. But a lot of people, a lot of businesses do that with AI. And that's where they fail. They don't train the AI. So what we do when we work with clients, we actually help them train the AI and train the team on how to engage with the AI to keep that training going. So it's growing as your business is growing. So it can do the thinking for you. I've had AI trained to where it even has emotional intelligence. If you were to say something like, I'm sick, it will say, well, I hope you feel better. I know the weather has been up and down lately, and because of that, a lot of people have been getting sick. Hopefully, you feel better lately. Will you be back in the office on such and such day? And will that be a good day for us to schedule an appointment for you to talk with so and so? So it actually sounds like a human. It has emotional intelligence like a human. It doesn't sound like a bot. And so that's very important to train your AI so it can do some critical thinking. It can answer questions. You give it information about your company. You give it information about your industry. You answer. You have the frequently asked questions, and you answer those frequently asked questions. You give it that information. So if somebody asks questions, it can answer it and make your company an authority in that space. Make people feel real comfortable and confident that you can help them with whatever their problem is. And then the last thing, it can accomplish tasks. One main task will be appointment setting. So, it can go ahead and look at your calendar, see your availability, and then coordinate a good time for you and that particular lead to further the conversation. Now, one of the beautiful things about that is it's not just going to look at your calendar and say, these are some available slots. It will actually have a conversation with them and then ease them into the appointment being set. So it'll ask them their name. And when we set this appointment up, what's a good email for you? And could we get your phone number so we can confirm with you minutes before the appointment just to remind you of the appointment, and so forth. It will do the follow-ups, those type of things. So, and we can get even more advanced than that, but it'll do more than just say, would you like to set a time to talk on Tuesday at such time, Wednesday at such time, or Thursday at such time. It can actually have a conversation and talk with them, make them feel good about setting this appointment, and then find a good, convenient time for you both to further the conversation. It can also do some qualification for you before it sets the appointment. And that's very important because that can eliminate some unqualified leads and wasting your time or your staff's time with people that are unqualified. It may ask certain qualification questions and you find out up front that it's really not a good fit, and they can find out it's not a good fit. And then you don't have to worry about spending more time with somebody that's not ready to do business with you, or they have certain unrealistic goals or expectations, or just not a good fit. So it can do that for you. Now, let's talk about the top 3 immediate solutions. We talked about the email and text message. Everybody has their preference of communication. Some people like emails. Some people hate emails. Some people like text messages. Some people like phone calls. People like to be communicated in different ways. And setting up your AI system, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, can offer a complete communication process that will touch them in a way that they like to be touched. Will communicate with them in a way they like to be communicated with. So the first thing we'll talk about is email and text messages. So it can set up the email and text messages for you. It can also research the actual lead, find information out about them before it communicates with them. So it's not just canned, templated emails that go out. It literally does research, thinks about it, formulates good communication, and then sends that communication for you. So that's one way that it can do be a benefit to you. Another thing, it can make sure that you stay accountable and on task. It can send the reminders. It can send the follow up. If you have an actual meeting with them, it can send the summary and action steps. So it can do a lot more than just send a confirmation that we received your inquiry via form, or we received your phone call, or we received your email. It can do a lot more than that. And that goes back with setting up your system and training. The next thing will be your website chatbot. So I'm sure you've been to websites to where you've seen chatbots. They're usually in the lower right corner, a little bubble. You click that, chatbot will come up. And most chatbots are dumb chatbots. They just ask your name. They may ask your email. They'll ask you what is your inquiry, and usually they'll send you to a knowledge base where you'll get a bunch of articles that you can read further and maybe set up a ticket. But setting up an AI chatbot that's actually a clone of your business will do much more than that. It will actually have a conversation with them. And because it's properly trained, it knows how you think your business operates. It can actually answer the questions for them right then and there. It can then move them in the path that you want them to go. So if you want them to schedule an appointment, it can actually not only answer their question, but encourage them to set up an appointment. Or if, let's say, the conversation steers in their budget conscience, it can then say, hey, we have a coupon. Here's a coupon code. Or, if they need to know what makes you unique, or they're being a difficult client that wants to know, or difficult lead, excuse me, that wants to know a lot of, due diligent questions, and they're asking a lot of questions, it can then answer a bunch of the questions, but then also pose some questions to qualify them to see if they're a good fit. And if a good fit, then let them know that let's get on a call and talk about this further. Because what we're doing right now, you may not be a good fit. I may not be able to answer this for you at the moment, but I can answer this for you, in the upcoming, conversation. So that's very, very, very important. The last thing would be the voice AI. So voice AI is very important because with voice AI, you're actually talking with them on the phone. And this is very, very unique to where if trained right, they won't even know that they're talking to AI. You can clone your voice, you can clone team members' voice, or you can choose from hundreds of different voices out there and languages out there to communicate with the actual lead. And so instead of sounding robotic, it sounds like a person. Instead of having canned templated scripts, it actually communicates with them based on the knowledge it has. Now you'll say, well, how does this compare to an employee, a human? Well, here's the thing. A lot of you may have had either entry level staff members or overseas call centers, and they just go by the scripts. How many of you have been so frustrated with talking with a company, let's say their customer support or their sales, and they just go by the script, and you go off script and you ask a question and they just stick to the script? It's frustrating. But that's not even AI. That's even with human beings. It's frustrating. And you're like, look, I want to know this. I'm trying to do that. And they just stick to the script as if they didn't even hear your inquiry. They didn't even hear what you had to say. Well, a lot of people set up their AI the same way. They don't train the AI, so the AI sticks to the script. But with training, the AI now can answer those questions as if they're talking with you, or if they're talking with one of your more experienced staff members. And now it can make them feel as if they're literally talking to your team, which AI employees are now a part of your team. They're talking with your team. They're getting their questions answered. They're learning more about your company and what you provide, the benefits that you can offer, and they're ready to take the next step. And now this actual AI team member can now take the next step with them, and whatever that step may be, go ahead and get them started. So that's voice AI. Now, here's the thing. You may say, well, I would like to just hear some of the, voice AI or email or, chatbot. Well, if you like a demo, then here's a link that you can go ahead and request a demo, and we can talk about your situation and go ahead and schedule a demo for you so you can actually see AI in action. And so with that, I'm sure you'll be impressed, and you can start seeing how it can fit within your business. Like I said, I don't want to talk in theory, and I don't want to talk in any terms that's not practical. I want you to actually see everything in action, and say, oh, I see how this can help my business. Now, the ultimate AI system. This system integrates artificial intelligence with marketing automation. It's more than just chat GPT. It's more than just you talking with the GPT and it's spitting out information and you copying and pasting. The ultimate AI system will integrate the knowledge base that you have with the AI. The AI will then process it, and then it will send through a process of automations to actually carry out the task. With that, the benefits of it, like we stated before, your responses will be immediate unless you schedule it to respond at a different frequency. And it's 24/7. It's all the time. So once set up, you can set it up and you can then moderately monitor it and make changes if any changes need to be made in the future as your business grows. Your business may change in certain policies, it may change in certain offerings, so you can change it, but it will be able to grow with you. It's multi-channel, so with setting up the automation, we set up the perfect workflow. We say, okay, if a person is contacted by phone, follow up by text, follow up by email. If they're contacted by email, follow up with a phone call. But we find the perfect scenario for you, and we set that up, and then we have AI power that. And then the critical thinking, going back to, we help train the AI, but we also help train your team to know how to train in the future the AI. So it's a part of your team. It's a team member. Like I said, think of it as an employee. You wouldn't just leave an employee and they've been there for 5 years and they have no additional training. They're ever learning. They are ever learning. So AI will be ever learning as well. And we'll show you how to engage with your AI, how to train your AI, and how we can help continuously train your AI as well. And then the last thing is the action steps, whether that's appointment setting that I have here or whatever other tasks that they may need to do. We will work with your scenario, your situation, and train the AI, and set up the actual AI and automation to fulfill a streamlined and scalable system for you. So that's what the ultimate AI system would be. It's not a chat bot. It's not Chat GPT, Claude, Gemini, or any of these others to where you're putting in a prompt and you're getting a response. It's actually a system that's put together. This system will actually learn your business. It will learn your industry, and it will learn your audience and your audience behavior. And then it will customize and personalize everything to suit your business and the expectations of your leads. So that's the ultimate system. If you're ready to go ahead and move forward, then here's a link where you can set up a free assessment. Like I said, the way that we work, we give a complimentary assessment first so we can learn your business. We can see where the holes are, and then we can help you plug those holes. We'll then talk about what next steps we'll need to take. Think of it like this. I always say this: would you go to the doctor and the doctor just give you some pills, never ask you what's wrong with you, never talk with you, just say, hey, take 2 of these and call me in the morning? Would you trust that? What we do is we learn your business, your goals. We then understand your audience and your industry, and then we recommend what the next course of action should be. If we're all on the same page and we're all on board, we then take the next step. So if you're ready to go ahead and do that, here's the link where you can schedule a time and we can go through that process. And we hope to work with you. Like I always say to my clients, you don't have a revenue problem. You actually have a strategy problem. So hopefully we will be able to talk, because I know we can solve that strategy problem for you. Thank you for your time. Like I said, I didn't want to take up too much of your time. I wanted to make this interactive, and actually you get something from it more than just information, something you can take away from it. So go back on Google, go ahead and do some more searches, see how you behave, and see if that makes sense. Go to the calculator, see how much opportunity you're losing, how much money you're leaving on the table, and then if it makes sense, go ahead and schedule a time to get a free assessment, and we'll take the next step from there. Thank you once again for your time, and hopefully you have a great day.